Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Stiff Competition Outdoors. I've been busy trying to get on some fish here in my local lakes in North Carolina at Harris, Jordan, and Falls. Me and my sons went out on a couple of visits to Harris, and I've yet to had a chance to go to Jordan or Falls, but I'm going to tell you right now, they were awesome. Very much so awesome with the bites on the spawn, also post-spawn and pre-spawn. Of course, as everyone knows, the Great Lakes in here in North Carolina is Jordan, Falls, and Harris. Those are our big producers for big fish. Also, the last week was the week of the Bass Pro Shops Pro Tour, and they finished up the championship on Harris, and congratulations to Alton Jones on another great win to add to his collage of greatness. So the good Lord willing, and everything goes right for me, I'm going to try to get out there tomorrow and try to do my best on Jordan. But the waters right now are fluctuating a little bit. I'm waiting for them to clear up a little bit. I'm going to do some post-spawn and also spawn and pre-spawn fishing for these bass. But let's get back to what this is all about. On March 20th to 26th, me and a good friend of mine, Mark Bozzella, he is also on the Stiff Competition Outdoors team, and we went to Lake not to mention Lake Okeechobee, but it is a great lake. But we went to Lake Kissimmee and also Lake Hatchinall. And there again, this was on March 20th and the 26th. And I was going to let you guys know what we used and how all our baits performed for us to maximize our strategies on Lake Kissimmee and Hatchinall. But anyway, let's get right to it. And I'm going to show you the first bait that we have. The first bait we have is a paddle tail worm, and it's from Biter's Baits. You get them right there in Florida. Actually, the Fisherman's Candy Store there in Florida, right there at Lake Wells, Florida, not too far from Lake Kissimmee. They have these on the shelf. So I ordered mine an 80 pack. You order them online, 80 pack for 30 bucks. You can't beat it. So check those out. These are real good. Anytime on Okeechobee, the Harris chain, St. Johns River, Kissimmee, the chain, all of that. This right here works great. Okay, so how we rig this up? We rig this up on a Gamakatsu number 4. Of course, it's a Superline hook. And basically, all right, there's the hook. All right, and we used a number, let's see, a 16th ounce Titan tungsten lead. All right, I'm going to show you how I rigged it up. I have some 100% Berkeley trilene fluorocarbon, and I'll show you guys how I rigged this up. So basically, on everything, punching and everything, we use a bobber stopper, and these right here are from Bass Pro Shops. These are excellent. I've used these for years, and they work great for me. There again, I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by any one of these products that I'm using today or I'm showing you today. But hopefully in the future, I will be. So that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video. This to show you guys what products I do use, and by no shape or form am I sponsored by them in any way. So that's one of the reasons why I'm able to show these baits. I like for you guys to know what anglers moving up are trying to use to the best of their knowledge the products in their boat. So get this number 4 Gamakatsu Superline EWG right here, and basically I just tie a regular old cinch knot. I've been tying this for years. Been tying it for years, even when me and my dad used to brim fish out of a one-man wood boat that we built ourselves. So just tagging over again. I usually do it about 5 or 6 times. And then I take and go right back through the bottom loop, not the eye of the hook, but the bottom loop, just like that. And then I take the tag in and run it twice. 1, 2, back through that loop. And then I pull it tight, cinch it, and take and snip off the tag in. Alright, and there you have that. Alright, so that's how I tie the hook. So basically, we just put the bobber stopper on. So now I'm going to put the Titan Tungsten 16th ounce on here. The reason why we use the 16th ounce, guys, is because we tried the 3/8, we tried the quarter, and what is happening, these fish did not want that bait to fall real fast in front of their face. They wanted that bait to actually gradually fall down, and then they'd just come up and eat it. So another thing that we use a 16th ounce for is due to the fact that we would take this biter's paddle tail, black and blue. We would actually take it and run it across the hyacinths or across the lily pads, and they would actually come up on the surface and eat it. So that was another deal that we used. All right, so let me go ahead and tie this EWG number 4 Gamakatsu on here. And then I'll show you how we actually put the paddle tail on and everything, which was this paddle tail, we caught several bass on it. There again, I didn't know if y'all caught this in our last thing that we had from March 20th through the 26th, where we were actually on Lake Kissimmee. But one of the things we did do, we caught 139 bass. And yes, 139. It was an awesome time. We were there for 6 days of fishing. So yeah, that's what we done. We done great, as we always do in Florida. Have not fished no major tournaments in Florida, but here shortly I'm hoping to do that. So, all right. So now that we got the bobber stopper and also the 16-ounce tungsten on there, you want to take the paddle tail worm, and just like any other thing, just like any other, like your ribbon worms, trick worms or anything like that, you just want to run it up, go up to this part of the hook. Oh, let me cut the tag in off of this. All right, and you just pull it up on your line. For me, I like to pull the worm up past where I cut the tag in. The reason for that is that it won't get snagged on any grass or any milfoil or hydrilla. All right, and then you just take and run it through. You see it right there, just run it through. And then to make this thing super weedless, you just take and pinch it and pull it back on. So there, you see it, it's pinched and it's weedless. And then you want to take and pull your bobber stopper and your Titan tungsten lead all the way back down. And that's what we used. That's one of our main producers of catching a lot of fish, but that was one. There again, Biter's Baits number 4. EWG Superline Gamakatsu. Okay. All right. The other thing that we did use was a Gary Yamamoto. Everybody knows, great number 1 Senko 5-inch. All right. Basically, right here it is. That was one of our producers. Matter of fact, I caught 28 bass on the very last day of the evening going back in. We went back to the very first bank that we fished on Sunday, where I caught my 6-pounder at. But that's what we used. That's what I used. And basically, we put this on a Finesse WG weedless in a size 3. All right, right here. And that's basically it right there. All right, so we take the Gary Yamamoto Senko and we just put the O-ring, slip it down on the tool. By the way, it's best if you wet this. It slips on a little bit easier. I usually just dip mine into water. And then for me, if you look on the Senko, you have a Y that's in the middle. I usually take that ring and snap it right on that Y. All right. Put that to the side, and then you just take your number 3 Finesse WG weedless, and you just hook it. Always hook it down. The head's here on the bait. Always hook it down, the hook down onto the O-ring. A lot of people do it a little bit differently, but me, that's how I like to do it. Then you just take your weedless, and basically that was the setup for us. Sorry, these things when they're new, you have to pinch them. And that was a setup for us. And we caught a lot of fish on that. When I say a lot, it helped me catch 29 on the last day. And they were ranging from 4 all the way down to a game changer. If y'all seen that picture on there, it was a bass about yay long, about the same size as the bait itself. So that was the number 2 bait. Okay. Now we didn't catch a lot of fish on this particular bait that I'm fixing to show you, but we did catch some on it. And this right here is a jerk bait, a Strike King KVD jerk bait. It looks to me to be like a raccoon perch color, in which there is raccoon perch in Kissimmee. And there again, we threw that on 20-pound Berkeley fluorocarbon, and sometimes we would throw it on Berkeley trilene 15-pound. Okay, now here's where I was telling you guys that the bass were positioning themselves as long as the hyacinths, they shift from one side of the coves to the next, depending on the wind direction. So one day you're going to go there and it looks totally awesome. The next day you go there, it's like it's totally changed. That's because the wind direction pushes those hyacinths up against different parts of the banks. And so we were up at 7 palms, and we went to 27, totally changed. It mudded up, the water was sort of dirty. So we went up past 7 palms and went into a bank where we actually seen some old beds, and we've seen some huge tilapia. They were spawning up in the edge just like bass. They were bulldogging all up in there. So basically we thought those were bass, but there wasn't. They were tilapia. As we got up there, we noticed that. All right, so what happens is these bass were targeting little bitty fry. And when I say fry, the regular pond minnows. It wasn't like any type of like a gizzard shad, river shiner or anything like that, but it was very small river pond minnows. So that's what they were targeting on. Every once in a while, you would see them actually busting the bigger size minnows, and what those were actually river shiners. So we targeted the baby minnows that was up against the hyacinths. When they come up busting, we would throw a Pro Spro popping frog in this exact same color. We threw white, and we also threw a sun perch color. But this right here was one of the main performers for me, which also produced a 6-pound, 5-ounce bass, which was the biggest bass of the day or the week, and it was caught by my friend Mark Bozzella. So not Bass Pro, excuse me, but a Poppin' Spro frog in that exact same color, or in a sun perch color. Now, while we were up there fishing against the hyacinths, I noticed that there were some river shad out on the main part of the lake, and as we were fishing some of these hyacinths, I would take this next bait and throw it out, and I caught almost a 5-pounder, or it was a 5-pounder, I can't remember, but you would see it here shortly, by doing this. And I looked out on one of the floating hyacinth mats, and it was moving, and the shad were up underneath these hyacinth mats. Okay, the bass would come up and push them up against the hyacinth mats and come up and bust them. So I looked at it do it once or twice, and so I threw this bait. It's by Lucky Craft, and it's a popping minnow, and it's excellent. As you can see, the price is also excellent. But anyway, they're great. I've used them for years. I've always used my top waters has always been Lucky Craft. So I just think they make the best product for the right situation and time. And they got extremely nice colors, and the finishes are just about spot on for the bait fish in your area. Anywhere, anytime, Lucky Craft top water. So I had this on 15-pound monofilament because it floats, and you want to get the action out of that. This bass busted some shad again on the floating hyacinths. I threw it over there, and when I threw it over there, He hit it, and I said, oh, gosh, man. And he blah, 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 spit it. All right. I was like, this fish is not going to bite again. All right, so I reeled it in, cut it, retied, threw it back out on my second cast. When I did, he said, and I said, reeled him in, cuz, 5-pounder. So, anytime you do see shad busting, that same color, right there as you can see, same color, right there, that's it. Okay, so that was bait number 5. Okay, this next bait that I seen you, that you're fixing to look at, I bought looking online, and they're made by Rains. Paddle tail worm, June bug color, and they got a scent to them that I've never smelled before, but they're very good. Also, it falls. When you're using a big bait and they don't want to bite it, always use the Rains paddle tail worm, June bug, or black and blue flake. Okay, there again, that's Rains. Okay. All right, so that was bait number 7. All right. Excuse me, that was actually bait number 6. Okay, I use this all the time in Florida, anywhere, anytime. St. John's, Kissimmee chain, Harris chain, Okeechobee. Anytime that I punch, I use 65-pound Power Pro braid, 100%. I want to get this fish out of the mats in the boat as quickly as possible. Very sensitive. Everybody knows braid is very sensitive. And I use it on a Bass Pro Shop 7-foot 6-inch flipping stick. And it's an older one. I've got some more flipping sticks, but anytime I go to Mega Bass Country, which everybody knows that's Florida, for punching, I use the 7.6 Bass Pro Shop flipping stick, Power Pro 65 braid. Now, there is certain situations that I will use 50, and that's whenever I'm in lighter cover. Now, when I say lighter cover, I don't mean heavy cover. I mean lighter cover, where it would be scattered lily pads, grass, hydrilla that's out on the edge that I'm able to flip and go down. I would use that 50-pound. Okay, now we were actually using the 65 Power Pro braid on a number 5 trocar flipping hook. Okay, and also a Titan tungsten 1.5 ounce lead or sinker. All right, now, as everybody knows, like I said, I'm not sponsored in any shape or form by these companies, but I have, as everybody else has, used Zoom products for years. Okay, I like Zoom products all the way from a finesse trick worm all the way up to magnums. You talk about it, lizards, crawls, creature baits, and this one right here for flipping is bar none the best in my book. I've always used this in the Florida area, and it's called the Black Sapphire. It's called the Z-Crawl Junior, and that's it. The reason for this, it's got 4 sides to it, just like that. Okay, and when you're putting an 1.5 ounce Titan tungsten sinker on that, you have 4 ways to hook this little bait. Okay, now this right here is a Z-Crawl Junior, so it is a smaller profile bait, so whenever it hits those pads, it goes through very easy, and the bass just eat them up. All right, so there again, Z-Crawl Junior Black Sapphire, 1.5 ounce Titan tungsten lead, trocar number 5 alt flipping hook. Okay, That is also, like I said, Power Pro 65 braid. All right. The next thing that we did use, we caught a couple on top, is the Gambler. Let me see if I got the pack back here. Yep. What they call the Gambler Big Easy. And you know when you open a pack of them, the Gambler Big Easy. And this right here is in the June bug color. All right. And we use a number 5 screw-in Gamakatsu offset frog hook. That's all it is. And then we just take that and screw it right into the head, the nose of this Big Easy. There again, by Gambler. You do not want that bait all the way up on this hook. It stops the action, okay? You always want the paddle tail down when you hook this bait up. You want the paddle tail down. You go through the belly of that hook, belly of the Big Easy, come back up, and you got that end sticking out. You take and pull it back down into that belly, which is channeled, and then you just wanted to give it a weedless look. That right there will go through just about any cover that you fish in Florida. Now they do make a bead that goes on the front of hooks if you use different type hooks. But if you see that hook right there, it's got a little bit of a bump to it, which allows it to go over anything that it hits. Okay, we caught fish on that. Okay, now this next bait is what we call our biggest, some of our biggest fish on, but the biggest bass did come on popping spur frog. But anywhere I go, this color works. Okay, anywhere I go. And it's none other than the Z-Man jackhammer. Okay? This chatterbait by far, there again, I'm not sponsored by any one of these products, in my opinion, is the best, authentic, the one that started it all, chatterbait, in my opinion. All right. And this is a 1/2 ounce. Okay? 9 times out of 10, I will throw a 1/2 ounce. And I will throw this on a 7-foot 2-inch medium heavy slow action rod. I want these fish to have enough chance to engulf that bait and eat it. Okay, now I do pair this up with and I need to find, if y'all know anybody else who makes these, Gander Mountain, I need to find out who actually makes them. Drop a comment below, let me know, and I appreciate it, okay? These baits in this color, by far, is the best color anywhere, anytime, okay? Anywhere, anytime. And this color is actually called a swim minnow, and it's called Real Shad. There again, Real Shad, Gander Mountain, outdoors. And it's these right here are the Dean Rojas series from Gander Mountain. If you guys know and follow Dean Rojas through his career, he actually was sponsored at one point in time by Gander Mountain. Great company, or was a great company at the time. But paddle tail bait. All right, I'm gonna show you how I done it. I took my scissors right behind the gill plate. You want to take and cut right behind that last gill plate. Cut the little boy's head off, buddy. I'm telling you, just whack it. All right, you're going to take your jackhammer, and it's got awesome bait keepers too. All right, that bait is not coming off. All right, you want to take that bait just like this, because when you put it down, you want that tail to be down in the right position for that action, for that paddle tail, and you want to run it all the way until it comes out right at the back of the last ridge of the paddle tail, and you want to rip that thing right up on that bait just like that. Okay, and then there you have it, guys. This is what caught my 6-pounder at Florida. This is what caught several 7s and 6 and 5s here in my home state of North Carolina. Works anywhere, anytime. Make sure you have this color in your boat. There again, it's a 1/2 ounce jackhammer by Z-Man. And also the paddle tail swim bait that's hooked to it is a Gander Mountain 5-inch swim minnow in the real shad color. Now, I could not have been able to fish some of these days that we were there about this next product, and I love them, and they've been around for years, but they have just recently come out with the S11 glasses. Okay, the S11 means it has 11 layers of protection and also visibility built in to these lenses. Okay, and that right there is the S11s by Strike King. You can get them in any color, any shape that suits you, whatever you like. Pink, purple, polka dots, I don't care. Which I don't think you're going to be able to get that. But anyway, Strike King S11s. I don't know if you can see that right here. Let me see if I can get that on there. Alright, Strike King S11s. Great product. Been using these for years throughout my whole career. And when I say my whole career, I don't know if you can see, but I have won some trophies in my days, and there's more in storage. So, there you have it. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by these companies. I do use these products all the time. When I'm in the Florida chain, I do make sure that my arsenal for big bass, I do have these on board. If there's anything else that you guys would like to know about what to fish in Florida, what time and what place, just drop a comment below, and I will try my best to answer those as best as possible. Now, I am from North Carolina, which does not mean that I don't fish all across the states. I fish in Ohio, Florida, Virginia, of course, North Carolina, and also South Carolina, and also Georgia. So all these east places, they're awesome. You need to check out North Carolina, though. We got the best fishing, as you can see, on the Bass Pro Shop Tour, Pro Tour. But anyway, Harris did not show out like they normally do, but hey, there's always next year, or whenever they do come. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna sign out. If you guys have any questions, oh, let me tell you how we actually fish some of these things. All right, so go back to the paddle tail. I'm sorry, real quick. The paddle tail, any type of isolated lily pads, staging areas in a flat before they move up, the post spawners. Sometimes you'll catch the pre-spawners back out on these pads, and 9 times out of 10, if you can find it in 2 foot of water, you also will catch the spawn bass on this. Okay, those are isolated pads, and one of the main keys, you have to have hydrilla around these pads that are isolated. These bass feel comfortable in the hydrilla. They also spawn in it, but the lily pads are from a hard surface bottom, which these bass will actually spawn into, fan their beds, and go in there and spawn. So you have to have those 2 things: clearer water, isolated pads, and also you got to have the hydrilla. And also, you run that through one of these isolated hydrilla mat lily pads. If there's one there, no brainer. Get your rod ready and just throw them in the boat. With that being said, I hope you like this. I hope it's informational. And anytime, at any place, drop me a comment. There again, Stiff Competition Outdoors Facebook page, YouTube, whatever it may take. Just drop us a comment. We'll try to help you guys here in my home state, which I fished it for years. I know a lot of good things about the lakes here in North Carolina, and I hope to know a lot more in the future. There again, good luck. Hope this helped. Tight lines, set the hook, put them in the boat. God bless. Wish you well.